Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Balanced Boss Mom podcast. I'm your host, Erica, and today we are having a great conversation. Now, all of my conversations are normally a great conversation, but this one I am going to really enjoy. So, we are going to talk about a little bit more on honest conversations about motherhood, identity, of course, being burnt out. Us as moms often tend to have the ability to get burnt out very easily. So we're going to have an honest conversation about that. This podcast is not only for moms. Again, this is for women, for men who feel the need that they need to listen to somebody talk about being burnt out and how they can relate. Of course, I know I can relate. So today's conversation is especially for ones who may be just sitting in a corner, probably quiet to themselves and stating, am I allowed to have more than what I'm expecting? Or am I allowed to feel the way that I feel? And of course, in each episode, I always say that you're allowed to feel whatever you feel, whether it's happy, sad, mad. You're just allowed to feel what you feel. So I am really honored to introduce today's guest, Alicia, because Alicia is not only a mom, she's a coach, a podcast host, which we're going to get into, okay? And also a former CPA who understands firsthand what burnt out feels like, identity on the second hand, and hustle culture can do to a woman. After navigating her own season of disconnection, she now helps the ambitious working moms reconnect with themselves, redefining success, and pursue the dreams without guilt, even while raising her family. Her work centers around reminding moms that they are allowed to have more and you can also follow your dreams. So that is so cool. Without further ado, I am so happy and so honored, Alicia, for you coming onto the podcast. So welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for that beautiful intro, Erica. I am really excited to be
Oh,
here today.
you're welcome. No problem. I'm just really excited to have this conversation. I'm really
Yes.
excited for us to get into a little bit more about your background and your story. So let's get into it. So for those who are meeting you for the first time on YouTube, of course, can you start sharing who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about your background story?
Yes. So I am Alicia Grantham, founder and head coach at Lavender and Lemons Coaching. And I am joining y'all from Charlotte, North Carolina. Like you mentioned, I'm also a working mom. My daughter is 6 and my son is 3. I'm married, so I have a full plate too. And I'm a dream chasing mom. So while I coach other moms to take themselves off the sidelines, to take their dreams off the sidelines, I
Mm-hmm.
walk the talk and I'm going for my dreams and playing in this life that we've got and seeing how magical can life be? How good are we willing to let life get? And so that's really one of my mantras is like what more can I create? What more can I do? And how good am I willing to let life get?
I like that because I love the fact that I am meeting every different walk of life in every different season. For me, I feel like as moms, we juggle so many different hats. Like we're the mom, we're the friend, we're the sister, we're the nurse, the lawyer, the tech. And sometimes it's often steered on us burning ourselves out when we have a spouse that can equally do the same thing. They just choose maybe not to do it, or they just choose to see, like, okay, mom got it, she can handle it, which is very, very annoying. But I like the fact that being a mom, you can wear all hats. You can be whatever you want to be and still go after your dreams. So I'm
Yes.
glad that you were able to introduce to everybody that you are all the way from Charlotte, which is so cool. So you went from, of course, like discussed in your intro, you were a former CPA, and you went from that to being a coach and a podcast host. So the question I have is what led you to do that shift from, and can you explain what a CPA is?
Yes. Okay. So first things first, a CPA is, oh, y'all, some of you might cringe like, oh, she was that. Certified public accountant. So I passed an exam. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, maybe
Mhm.
not blood, but a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, to get that certification. And then I spent 13 years in corporate, primarily at public, like huge publicly traded companies, in their internal audit department, looking at processes and efficiency and compliance and all kinds of things like that. And
Mhm.
what really shifted me from that into what I'm doing now was just this misalignment of what I was doing versus what my strengths are and my gifts are.
Mhm.
And even when I was in college, I had a college professor, a marketing professor, who told me I was a misplaced accountant.
Mhm.
And I didn't listen. I just kept going for it. And like as I was in the field, I would
Mhm.
see, oh, okay, like, yeah, I was really good at what I did. I really thrived. A lot of those things that made me not your typical accountant were those things
Mhm.
that really helped me to set myself apart and thrive in my corporate career. And
Mhm.
like when you're doing well and you're seeing success, like it can keep you in there and you're like,
Yeah.
well, like everything is good on paper. Like it's looking pretty good. I'm getting that positive feedback of like I'm knocking things out of the park or whatever. But it wasn't until I became a mom, and I'm sure so many of the parents listening would be able to attest, that my priorities started to shift,
Mhm.
especially with my daughter. Suddenly, I wasn't quite okay with working all of the hours that I had to work. And it wasn't that I couldn't. I mean, part of it was that I couldn't, right? Like I had
Mhm.
daycare pickup and a little human being that needed to be taken care of
Taken
in the
care of.
evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I no longer wanted to work those hours. And so what I did at that time when my daughter was 1 was I shifted to like another company where it looked like work life balance would be a little more present than what I had at the time.
Mhm.
And then I had my son, and that's when my priorities really shifted because now I had 2 kids that were relying on me. And
Mhm.
at least for me personally, going from 1 kid to 2 was exponentially harder, and I wasn't prepared for that. And so that's really what started that shift, was
Mhm.
just my priorities changed, and what used to matter to me no longer really mattered to me.
That's
And
how
that
I
created just this feeling of misalignment, every single day of like, okay, now I'm doing this job and it really just doesn't feel like me. Yes, I'm good at it, but it's just
that's
draining me.
exactly how I feel, like, in this season right now where I'm I love working from home. Don't get me wrong, love working from home. However, it's getting to the point where it's not fulfilling
Mhm.
anymore. And it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, all right, you've been at this company for like 3 years and you see the things that you see and you're like, this is just not aligning with it anymore. And it's kind of like, what do you do? Do you stay another year and be miserable? Or you continue to probably stay another year and keep working on your podcast until you figure it out. And I think that's where I'm at. I'm kind of like, I'm here because it's a check. I'm not here because I like it anymore. It's gotten to the point where it's like, you know how you clock out and you're just like, oh my God, you have a headache and you're drained and you just want to run. I
Yes.
absolutely every day I've been wanting to run. Like it's not I don't even talk in like the chats or anything and say like, "Hey, good morning," like I used to, or "Hey, good, hope you guys have a great evening." I don't even say that no more. I just do my work and go home. And that's something that a lot of moms need to hear because it's like you shouldn't have to feel like you're not
Right.
fulfilling in and it's not filling your cup anymore. So if you are out there going through something like I am going through, just think about things and take things for what their face value. Because it sucks. It sucks where right now the job market isn't what it used to be. And it's like it sucks that you have to stay in one position and you keep trying to, go after those other positions and then you still keep getting denied.
Yes. So hard. It can be so hard.
And it's it's I don't yeah, it is hard, but it's also frustrating because it's like you
Yes.
keep trying to make sure every box is checked and make sure everybody's happy at the job, and then it's just still not enough.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then you go home and you start your second shift at your other job of being a
Love the
full-time
time.
mom and
Being a
still
mom.
trying to check all of those boxes, and it's still never feeling like it's enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's why I like how you went from you shift your gears from being from a CPA to a podcast host and to coaching, which we're going to get into the podcasting later. But you speak a lot about identity shifts, like you stated earlier. So you have two kids, correct? You have a daughter and a son. You have
Yes.
one of
Yep.
each. That is so cool. I have a daughter. She turns 8 today. Today's her birthday.
Yay, happy birthday.
I'm so happy. Like she made me think about last night and I was like, I really have. We've grew up. We really
Oh,
have. You have shifted me in a lot of ways where I'm like, I just want to hang out with my kid. I don't want to be like this anymore. Or
yes.
what are some ways that you have shifted in momhood?
Oh my goodness. So many ways. And the shift is still happening, right? Like it's still
Mhm,
ongoing. Even just this month, I've been realizing, patterns and things that I have in my way of being and my way of like responding that I want to shift. But from quitting corporate
mhm,
to starting my business as a coach and starting my podcast, that identity shift has been really beautiful. So one thing that's just transformative when you start doing something that lights you up, when you start going for a dream. And yeah, I kind of burned everything down and burned the boats to take the island kind of way, but you
mhm,
don't necessarily have to do that. It can be just starting to work on this podcast and having the goal to get the podcast to really take off, to grow your audience, to get sponsors or whatever it is so that you can quit your job. But when you start doing something that lights you up,
mhm,
you show up differently at home. And so, me going for my dreams has actually really strengthened my relationship with my kids. It's allowed me to show up little bit, not a little bit, a lot better for my kids. Where I used to be drained, long commute, stressful meetings, toxic work environment, a boss that was a jerk, just to race home through rush hour traffic, trying to get my kids before, that cut off at the
mhm,
daycare and the after school program, just to pick them up. And then, oh my gosh, she's got homework and I need to make dinner. And we didn't do a bath last night. So we have to do one today. And
in the morning. Yep.
all of the chaos that just piles on top of the day I've already had. So that and that those moments I wasn't showing up as myself, like my best self. I was showing up irritable and stressed and frustrated and quite frankly snappy. Like God forbid my kid has a big emotions because I got my own big emotions boiling right under
Mhm.
under the
We do.
surface.
We do as moms. We have our own big one.
Yeah.
And
So
sometimes we have
now,
meltdowns to where we just need you need a timeout yourself and just having
yes.
that just that moment to yourself. I get it. I hear you because
Yes.
like you
And
said, you go from from corporate to switching into coaching. I know it would have been like night and day.
oh yeah, it's been total night and day. Honestly, so I've been in this field for just over a year.
Mhm.
I quit corporate in October of 2024, and I'm first and foremost going to tell everybody it's not easy. Going for your dreams is not easy. Shifting your identity from what is comfortable, what is safe, what is known into something that's different and unknown.
Mhm.
And yes, you could see it in your head and you got a vision, but like stepping into that person,
Into it.
it's not easy, but it is so flipping worth it. And had I known, like I get to set up my own days. I love podcasting. I love coaching. I love connecting with others. And now like that's what I do during my days is stuff
Mhm.
that doing work that aligns with what my gifts are and what I really truly love. And so then when it comes time to pick up my kids, when it comes time to making dinner and handling all of the things,
Mhm.
my cup's already a little bit fuller. I've already spent my day actually doing stuff that I like
That you love
that
to cook.
yes. And I mean, don't get like I'm not showing up perfectly by any means. There are times where life is lifing. Life still lives and I still have
Mhm.
emotions. And sometimes I don't have the space to hold my kids' big emotions when I've got my own,
Oh,
but more
same even
often
for
than
me.
not, I can handle them a little bit better than I did when my cup wasn't even full. if that makes sense.
Say that again for the people in the back. I hear you. I understand that whole the big emotion thing where it's you have to always keep yourself together so that way you don't break down in front of your kids and your kids saying, "Hey, mommy, what's wrong?" My daughter is big on that. She's like, "Mom, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna walk in the bathroom for 10 minutes. Just please do not disturb." And then I hear a knock. I'm like, "Can I get 10 minutes? Just 10. If it's
Yep,
not you,
just
it's
that.
your dad. Can we just, hey, babe, can you help me fix the internet? Because I don't know." Look at the router and see what color it is. If it's orange, that means it's outage. Okay? I'm not, unplug, replug. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Like, do that. The Xbox is not working. I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I'll be out in a second." So I hear you trying to handle your own big emotions while maybe your daughter or your son have they're upset about something or, they got in a fight about a toy, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I
And one
totally
quick
I get it.
pause is just as you were sharing that, those are even more hats that you might not even realize you're wearing. You are the IT tech person. You are the Xbox fixer. Like, you mentioned all of the hats that we wear, which we do, but we are also party planners. We are janitors. We are cleaners. We are admins. We are Uber drivers. You name it. As a mom,
Mhm.
you've got it. Yeah, I too. I am the IT tech person in this
Sometimes I
house.
wish I didn't know about computers. Sometimes I wish I was so dumbfounded to the point where I'm like, "Huh? That's a laptop? Really? Is that really a laptop? Or is that a desktop? Which one is it?" And I'm like, "I don't know what Control Alt Delete is today. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I don't know why the printer ate up the paper. Just figure it out." And you know what's crazy is as many hats that we wear, Google is a great resource. I'm getting so fed up with people not using what's in their hand, Google. It's not hard. You have a phone, and it has driven me crazy because I work in a field where it's insurance. So of course I do like deductible, co-insurance, all of that. But what really drives me up the wall is when someone calls, or my spouse does this where it's like, "Hey, I have a phone, but where's the internet?" And I'm like, "Didn't you go to IT school? Didn't you go to IT school? Didn't you in high school, we had a computer class and it taught you how to use a computer, okay?" They don't even do that anymore, I don't think, right now in my daughter's age. And my daughter is 8 and she knows how to work a full computer. She knows how to work TikTok by herself, which is massively insane. Better than me. And I've been doing this. My birthday's in March, so 36 years almost.
Yeah.
An 8-year-old has challenged me to really think about how I need to go back to school sometimes. Cause I'm like, what? Like she just told her dad today, um, for her birthday, her dad said, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday?" She said, "I don't know. Why don't you just go on Amazon and figure it out?" And I'm like, back then, if you were 8 years old my age and you said that to your parents, you wouldn't see the light of day. You'd probably be blinking, okay? Because
Yeah.
you
All
I
I'm saying is if she said go to Amazon and figure it out, y'all need to get her like a fish tank. Feel like it was on Amazon and we thought you'd like it. You're going to get a fish tank with some
she
pans.
crazy enough, she have a dog and she has a fish tank right out here. Um, I just think my daughter needs to humble a little bit of herself. Just just I love her dearly. But this whole new era of I want to get my ears pierced. I'm like so like it's like 9 day. I'm like, what is happening? Like I get that you're 8 now, but she's like, I want to get my nails done like my mommy. I want to get my ears pierced like my mommy. And I want to get a tattoo. I said, huh? Wait a minute. You're taking me places. Just give me a second. I love you enough to tell you no, not at this time. And ear piercings are expensive. When do
Yeah,
ear
they
piercings
are.
become like $30?
I know. I think mine was probably $30. I just went to Claire's in the mall. But my
That's what I'm
friend's
saying.
daughter just got her ears pierced. She said it was $125.
Oh, you're kidding.
She just got them pierced a few weeks ago. And I was curious because my daughter wants her ears pierced. And it's done by nurses at
Hmm.
this little spot.
Hmm.
They're $25. And I don't know if that included the cleaning agent or the earrings. So
Well, that better be included with the clearing agents and the earrings. 125. That's what I said. Because when I went to Claire's, and shout out to Claire's, if you want to sponsor the Boss
I know.
Mom. Please hear this.
These mamas had you pierce our ears.
Come on, we have to pierce our ears. Oh, Walmart, holla at your girl. Okay,
Yep.
we're doing sponsorships here. But when I went to Claire's, I think it was like 30, like almost 30, $40. And I was like, this is insane to do this. Like, you went to Walmart and you pay at least 20, 25.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
it's insane. It's insane the way that I think our generation versus seeing our kids' generation, it is like night and day. It's like where you're able to see the cycle repeat itself, but only see it in the eyes of our kids. So I like that. I like that. I tell my daughter the other day, she was looking at my phone and it was showing like, the 90 commercials. And I was
Yes.
telling her, I said, you don't even understand these commercials at all. I said, the commercials you got now, yeah, you see Bad Bunny, you see, all these other different commercials. But the commercials back then were so much. You sit on a Saturday watching them and be
Yep.
completely fine. Or looking at the cartoon channels on the weekends. I was like, kids don't even do that anymore. I'm like, go out and run and play. Like I was out until the street light came on.
Yep.
Go run and play. She's like, I don't want to. I want to be on my Nintendo Switch. I'm like, where's the fun in that? And then paying $60 for each game.
Right? Wild.
Wild. It's crazy the amount of things that we go through. So I want to shift into a little bit about mom guilt. I know we often deal with mom guilt in so many shapes, forms, or fashions. So I have 3 questions for you. Why do you think mom guilt feels so deeply rooted for many women? And you also talk about helping moms give themselves permission to go back into their dreams. And what does that actually look like in real life?
Yes. Such a good question. Deeply rooted when it comes to mom guilt is such a good way to put it, because roots have all these little tentacles or pieces
Lines.
that are digging deep into the dirt. And we could spend so much time talking
Oh
about
my God,
all of the different things that are
we
feeding
can
to
talk
mom
about
guilt.
moms and mom guilt all day because
We could talk about it all day. But I think the two biggest drivers, or at least the two that I see as being the biggest drivers, are society and
Mhm.
social media. And
Oof.
society's expectations of moms has not changed in decades, decades upon decades upon decades.
Mhm.
But society, like the expectations, I guess they haven't changed, or if they have, like as they have changed, it's actually been just more. So we still have the same expectations as our grandmas did, but now we have full time working jobs, right? So we are
Mhm.
still expected to put fantastic, healthy, nutritious meals on the table. We are still expected to have clean houses that are Marie Kondo tidy and beautifully organized, and having, like, they need to be well designed, and we need to have great birthday parties that we throw on a budget, but everybody gets a great goodie bag, and we need to buy these presents.
Mhm.
We still have a lot of those same expectations. Those expectations of moms haven't changed, but
Mhm.
now we've added on 40 hours a week of jobs. And now we've added on, it's not just the work, right? It's also
Mhm.
the relationships, those people that you're working for, that manager and how that manager treats you. And so, like, work isn't just work, that it's like a whole dynamic and environment in and of itself. And then we go home after having lost 40, 50, 60 hours a day, depending on how many hours you work. And now you've got to tidy up this house, and all of those expectations
Mhm.
allow us to see how easily we're quote unquote failing. Because, oh my gosh, God forbid the dishes have been in the sink for 3 days. Or God forbid you forgot to do the laundry and now your
Mhm.
kids need clean socks. And oh my gosh, they had to wear the socks from, like, you found a pair from a week ago that smelled kind of clean, and that is all
Mhm.
guilt. And then on top of that, on top of all of these expectations that we're subconsciously and consciously holding ourselves to, now we're doom scrolling. We pop on Instagram or Pinterest and we see all of these picture perfect moms wearing their Lululemon leggings, looking
Huh.
super fit. So now we feel guilty that we're wearing leggings from Walmart or Target, and we never have time to exercise, let alone look like that. And so now we're feeling guilty about that little mommy pooch that you got. And now they're going on their family vacation to the beach, and they're all wearing their cutesy little matching coordinated outfits. And now we're feeling guilty that, when God forbid, like, do we ever even go to the beach? And when we go to the beach, are our outfits coordinated? And it's just,
Um,
there are so many ways, consciously and unconsciously, where we are constantly reminded as moms that we're falling short. Sometimes it's just another kid's mom painting the birthday rock at school. I don't know if y'all have that. Our school has this giant rock. And one of the girls in my daughter's class, her mom painted the rock, and it's like gorgeous. I thought she hired somebody to paint this rock. Like, and my daughter's now like, Mommy, are you going to paint the rock when my birthday comes around? And it's like even things like that where I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many ways
it's
that
so
we fall
many
short.
expectations that makes us,
Yes.
like you said, makes us feel very small, very short. Because I feel like honestly, the women that are wearing the Lululemon probably are listening to this and probably like, girl, you don't even know if I have this put together, but I'm put together, but I'm not. And
100%. Because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
mhm,
We're only seeing what we get to see on Instagram. And then we're making that feel guilty without even knowing what her story is.
yep,
Maybe she's dealing with cancer in the background and she's a hot mess,
yep.
but putting on those Lululemons make her feel put together and she just smiles and there you go. But everything can be so surface level. And when we're doom scrolling, you're not getting curious, like, they're all color coordinated, but maybe she like spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours trying to figure out those outfits, like
Mhm.
she
It,
didn't
it,
snap her
it's
fingers and now everybody's looking great.
it's crazy because it's like you said, as um social media plays so much what I call a devil's advocate,
Hmm.
like being in the devil's playground. Because I know for me, when I doom scroll, I'm like, oh, that picture that I took back in 2020, what was I thinking now that I'm in 2026, like 6 years later? What was I thinking? Why did I even post this at this time? But maybe during that time, it made me feel good
Right.
at that time. And so like the thing with social media that I really wish that um would change a little bit is, no offense to celebrities, and I have nothing against celebrities, but I really wish celebrities would start doing more of showing who you really are, like your raw, authentic self, your day to day. You say you have 4 kids, not you, but the celebrity say they have 4 kids, for example. Okay, show what that day looks like instead of this. Oh, I got my makeup on and the glam squad came to see me and like I'm all put together and this is just really great. And but you're not put all together. And I think that's the beauty of what you and I go through. That's the beauty of seeing, like, you could have a bad day and still make a positive reaction come out of that bad day. You don't
Yep.
have to put that surface face on when you're a celebrity and you're wiping the makeup after at the end of the day. Who is your village? Who is your person that you go to where you're like having that rough day or having that rough time? And that's something that makes me curious because when I'm doom scrolling, and no offense, I like Kim Kardashian. I don't know why a lot of people don't like her. I like Kim Kardashian. Um, but for example, you see her and she's all put together, but like if you were watching the show, she's kind of almost breaking down and saying like, "Hey, I want to show myself," which is a good thing. And I think a lot of people need to shed that skin. And I think it's starting to happen in social media a little bit more. But I think until we as women keep saying it's a positive thing to be that raw self, show the rawness, I think that is just gonna take a little bit more time for that to evolve.
Yep. And that's definitely like that's the space I hold. If you go on my social media or listen to my podcast, I I know that if I want other moms to feel comfortable, if I want to create a space where other moms can be themselves and feel comfortable talking about that guilt that they're carrying, where they're feeling short,
Mhm.
that I also need to be that way. And so
Mhm.
some pictures and posts on my Instagram that are cringy where I'm in the ER holding my son. I got no makeup on, my hair's looking ratty. And but that's mom life, right? Like
Yes.
I was in the ER and I had something to say, like something to share that I knew would speak to other moms because sometimes as moms, our kids do crazy stuff and we end up in situations that we don't want to be in. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be in the ER at 10 p.m. at night, you know? And I did one the other night where I was on the couch binging because we had that big ice storm, you know?
Mhm.
And and I was like, I love Bridgerton, and Bridgerton is getting released next weekend.
I love Bridgerton. I've been trying to find somebody to talk to about Bridgerton for
Yeah.
forever. I love Bridgerton. That is my show. Netflix. Did
Yes.
you hear
So here
this?
I am, like, I'm binging on the couch. My kids are upstairs. I got no makeup on. I'm in my jammies, and I'm like, how upset do y'all think the Bridgerton cast and crew are that theirs is getting released next weekend when all the moms are snowed in at home binging TV this weekend? Because next weekend, I'm not going to be binging. We're going to some
Mm.
Puppet Palooza play date. Like we got life be life in next weekend.
They're saying that the ice storm here is it didn't even hit the way that they said it was going to hit like in my city. So I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, I was like, we the frenzy here in Texas just gets but all the tissue and all the canned goods and the
Hmm.
bread. I'm like, it's not like once you realize, yes, you're not supposed to get on the highway, people, and drive in ice because we get black ice here.
Yeah.
These people need to just figure that out. But long story short, yes, Bridgerton is such a cool binge. And I have found myself on Netflix like during the time of the ice storm, but they say it's supposed to be cold this
Hmm.
weekend, and I think one more weekend, and then it's done. So I'm like, please give me spring because my birthday, springtime. I don't want any
Yes.
winter. So I know before we wrap up, I do have some more questions. So I know we are about to get into a little bit of trick coaching in the podcast. I'm so excited. So when a mom first come to you for coaching, what they ask for, like what weighs on them the most?
So it varies by mom, right? Every mom is so unique, and what is going on in her life and what's on her plate, that varies from mom to mom. But the overlying theme or the overarching theme that I typically see no matter what it is they say they want help with, it's
Mhm.
usually overwhelm.
Mm.
They are feeling overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. You know, maybe they're feeling misaligned, but they're like, I'm looking at my calendar and I don't see where in the world I would ever find time for myself to start that Etsy side
Mhm.
hustle or to write the book or to even look for a different job or whatever it is. Like, so sometimes it's the time piece. Other times it's like literally their to-do list. And they're like, I am barely keeping my head above water. Or, you know, they're a high achieving mom. They're super ambitious and they are keeping their head above water. But
Mhm.
one more rock on their back as they're swimming might be the thing that sinks
Okay.
them. And they're like, okay, I need help with my to-do list, with my time. And time and tasks are that those are ones I hear and see a lot.
Mhm.
And the fantastic thing about working with a coach. So I think so often we think of coach and we're like, athletes need coaches, or if you're
Mhm.
trying to like hit a weight loss goal, you need a coach. But
Mhm.
essentially, like when you really look at it, the coach is the one that's holding them accountable. The coach is the one that's training them. They're the ones that are like guiding their fitness and the activities that they're doing and all of that so
Mhm.
that that athlete can hit a goal, right? It's all
Yeah.
ultimately it's the Olympian getting the gold medal. It is, you know, someone going to the gym trying to hit a weight loss goal or a muscle building goal or whatever. So a coach helps you hit your goals. And so when these moms come to me and they're like, "Oh, I want to do this. I want my life to be more joyful, to be more lit up. I
Mhm.
don't know where to start." Having someone who's not in the thick of your weeds you can see the trees through the forest or the forest through the trees, right? You can see,
Yeah.
oh, let's look at your calendar. Oh, like, can you delegate this? Do you really need to be doing this? Or does this thing light you up?
Mhm.
Like, if you go and do this I'm gonna pick on Puppet Palooza. If you go to that Puppet Palooza, is that gonna make you feel joyful? Is that really gonna light up your kids? Is that something you wanna do? Or should you just say no? And sometimes having someone look at everything going on, the swirl in your world,
Mhm.
they can help you see, "Oh, I do have time," or, "Oh, I'm actually wasting a lot of energy doing this thing, and it doesn't light me up, and I don't even think it lights my kids up to the extent that it's worth the effort it's taking me to, drive them to ballet." My daughter's, like, complains about ballet every not I'm not
Yeah.
I'm just hypothetically, my daughter's not in ballet, but, are you taking your kid to ballet? And every time you bring her home, she's, like, griping about it, and
She's
she
exhausted, she
never
don't
wants
wanna
to
do
go, and
it.
she's whining every time. And then you take her to ballet, and you're spending all the money and all the time, and you're sitting there for her ballet practice for 45 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Why? So
And it's okay to say no to things. I think that's another thing that needs to be normalized
yes.
when you feel like it's not fitting in your week and you have to reschedule. And I'm big on that because I'm like, "Oh, I have an interview today or I have an interview tomorrow." And I'm like, I know I said, this is my times and these are my times in the meet and greet, but maybe I should just do one in a week and then I'll be okay. But sometimes it's okay to say no. And I think on the receiving end, people shouldn't get offended about that. I think that narrative
100%.
needs to change 100% because I used to tell my friends all the time, I'm like, "Hey, I can't make it. I have to take care of my daughter. It's not what you I can't just bring her along." I'm like, "Um, I can't bring her along to this type of establishment because I feel like I'm gonna get judged for having her at this, a establishment that's more for adults, and she's a baby. She can't be at this time." And I had to pick and choose a lot of that often, but once I had her, everything shift. And I think having a coach is really cool to have somebody in your corner to just be like, maybe this calendar is really full, or just like you gave me an example earlier, any guest that comes on, just kind of space it out. You could space it out throughout February and space it out throughout. You don't have to have it bunched up in a whole week. You could space it out throughout the months. It could be a podcast where one guest comes on every week. And I'm learning that for myself. And it feels good to see that people want to come on, continue to come on to the podcast, by the way, just saying. But it's also where I see like, okay, I'm getting burnt out because I'm working during the day. And then during the night, I'm trying to get the podcast going. But I love podcasting too. So
Yes.
before we wrap up our conversation, um, I have some closing questions for you. What does living a balanced boss mom look like for you right now? If a mom is listening and feel emotional or seen by this conversation, what would you want to say directly to her? And where can listeners connect with you and learn more about your work?
Yes. So for me, in this season that I'm in right now, being a balanced boss mom looks like joy.
Mm,
Because when you are balanced, when you're truly balanced, you feel joy. When you're
mhm.
out of balance, when you're out of alignment, that's when you're feeling overwhelmed or dragging. The days look like just a heavy boo when that alarm clock goes off in the morning. And so, one of the things that I you know, am doing and practicing is like, is this going to bring me joy? Or is it going to bring my children joy? Is it going to bring my partner joy? And, looking at it like that. And then also, I've got dreams, I've got goals. And sometimes when something really hard is happening in the moment, I ask
Mhm.
myself, what would my future me, how would she handle this? Because she's the person I'm working to become,
That's a
right?
good question.
So would she go to this event?
Mhm.
What would she say to this person who is really draining? Would she have that conversation with that person? And so living a life that's joyful and living a life that is each day or each action is taking me closer to my dreams. That's balanced boss mom to me. And to the moms out there or even just parents out there who feel like they've lost themselves, first, no wonder you have lost yourselves. Like we've talked about in this episode,
Mhm.
wearing so many hats, all of the things that you are doing that if you're not bringing intention
Mhm.
to your days, you're a human doing, you're not a human being. You are an Uber driver, a party planner, a house cleaner, an employee, a partner, a mom, a chef, personal assistant, an admin, scheduling doctor's appointments. You're no, it's no wonder that you feel like you've lost yourself
Mm.
because you've got so much to do that it's hard to just be. And you are still in there. And who you are now is very different from who you were before you became a mom. And so you do not need to give away your kids for adoption and burn everything down to try to be who you were in your 20s. That's not who
Your
you are
20s are
anymore.
gone. Your 20s are long
20s are gone.
gone.
And who
Think
you
we
are
miss
now,
often too. We miss that being in our 20s, but I think the mistakes that we learned in our 20s have shaped us for our 30s.
yes. And the 30s holds so much magic as well. And now you are a mom. And who you are underneath, like being a mom is an identity shift. It's not just like a hat that we wear, but it's who we become as a mom.
Mhm.
And you can still find who you are now. It's just
It's different.
work it's different. And it's of course I'm going to say working with a coach to help you see strategies and stuff, but even just looking at your life, your time, your to-do list and saying, where can I say no? Where can I delegate? Do I have to be the one doing this or can someone else do this? It's setting boundaries. And once you start doing that and really looking at it from that lens of, is this going to bring me joy? Is this going to fill my cup?
Mhm.
And obviously we're moms. It's not all about us. Is it going to really truly bring my kids joy? Is it worth my effort to see that smile on their faces? And when you
Mhm.
start making those tiny shifts and those tiny tweaks, you start discovering what lights you up. You start creating space to do more of what lights you up. And it's all
Mhm.
about, it's one little baby step at a time. Perhaps like everyone listening has heard, but like it's like when you're on a path and you're walking, and then one day you're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna just
Just
shift my
shift
angle
it.
just a
Yep.
teeny tiny bit. My toes are now gonna be pointed this way," and you start walking. Over time, you will be in a drastically
Yep.
different place
That's
than
gonna
had you
change.
never made that tiny little shift. And so, don't underestimate those little tiny shifts of saying no or now prioritizing yourself so that maybe you take a bath
Mhm.
every Friday now or like you do something 30 minutes carved out for yourself, 10 minutes carved out for yourself.
Mhm.
Those little shifts over time will make a huge impact, a huge difference.
Big.
Good. Good. Oh,
Yes.
yes, and if you want to connect with me further, I also have a podcast called Mom's Got This Mostly.
Mhm.
We talk similar topics. We talk about everything I was talking to you guys about, mom guilt and creating the life of your dreams. And I do take you to church sometimes and talk about like whatever is inspiring to me. And I also have guests on. I bring guests on a couple times a month as well as doing solo casts. And then on Instagram, you can follow me at Alicia period S period Grantham. And yeah, I'll give all of that to you so you can put them in the show notes.
For sure. Well, Alicia, I want to thank you for being on my podcast. We've had an amazing conversation that I hope each mom will take away something great out of this conversation, whether it's taking that time for themselves, not feeling guilty anymore, and just wow, overall is what I meant to say. Geez, tongue tightness here today. Overall, just live the dream that you want to build. My dream
Yes.
has been wanting to do a podcast and I'm doing it. So you got to figure out what your dreams are, what your ambitions are going to be. Again, Alicia, thank you for being so gracious coming onto the podcast and being a guest. I hope you come back.
Yes, I would
Mhm.
love to come back. Thank you so much for having me. This has been such a joy, so much fun.
Yay! See, you heard her. She said she's gonna come back. Woo, 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 woo. All right, guys. As I always say, follow me on all the social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on there, the Balanced Boss Mom podcast. Of course, I am on YouTube. So you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a review and tell me what you think about the wonderful podcast. Until next time, you have gotten a wonderful lesson from the Balanced Boss Mom podcast. Bye, guys. I'm your host, Erica.